Hi everybody, it's Dream Trades. I'm back today with another daily trade recap. It's Monday, March 3rd, the first day of the week, and I'm gonna recap 3 of the trades that I took today. Unfortunately, they were all losing trades, and looking back in hindsight, I made a lot of mistakes today, and I could have done a lot better. So in this recap, I'm gonna go over my trades and then the things that I can do to improve. So with that being said, let's get into the recap. So the first stock that I traded today was VXRT. It was doing really well the last couple of days, and it sold off pre-market due to bad earnings. So I said, all right, maybe the way I wanted to play this is I wanted it to find a support and then buy the breakout of $10. And I had actually missed out on the trade and I entered a little bit late. But just because of the previous momentum that it had in the previous days, and you can see when I go back onto the daily chart, it's super high increasing volume over the last couple of days, and these are all very bullish signs. So I assumed obviously that I'd be able to take in continuation play, despite the fact that they had bad earnings, because I believe that they had a good catalyst, and that catalyst being them unveiling a new COVID vaccine in the form of a pill, and there was a lot of good sentiment around that. So what I said I was gonna do is, honestly, I was just gonna buy the breakout at 10, but I had missed it because I was watching another stock. So what I did is I just bought on this candle to see if it was gonna continue going up. I just had one contract, and it didn't. It came back down to the support, so I just sold, and I sold that for a loss. Just pretty self-explanatory. Like, I bought it at the high of day, which was obviously not a good move. I should have waited till it at least came down to support and held support or something like that, and it was obvious that it didn't. And after selling off on pre-market like that, it dropped over, I think, 11% pre-market. And this isn't a stock I normally trade either, so I don't know how it moves. And it was just not a good trade overall. And I mean, there's nothing more I could say about that. It was just not a good trade. The next trade that I had taken was on I had taken a trade on NIO, and the other one was on Mara. So Mara, I wanted to trade no, I didn't even want to trade it. I had it on my watch list, and I wanted to take it at least above $40 or at a bounce of the support. And again, I was watching something else, so I had missed both. I had missed those moves, and I saw that it came down to the support right here at 38, and it had this candle right here. And this candle started forming, and it looked like it wanted to have a support on the 200 moving average. So I had bought on this candle, and clearly that didn't work out. It had gotten rejected, and this just real large engulfing bullish candle. So I just cut my loss right there. That was the second loss that I took today. I had 2 contracts on this one, so position size was a little bit bigger, and it wasn't a hit, but I did take a loss on it, and it was unfortunate. But at the same time, it also wasn't that great of a trade in the first place, because it wasn't a clear setup. After it got rejected by the high of day and it came down, it was silly of me to try to buy the first bounce on the support and enter before I even got a close on the 200 moving average, because this right here, this is called a doji, right? And if you know how candles open and close, they open. Like for this candle right here, it opens on here and then it closed up here, and then the wicks determine the range of the candle. So this means that there's indecision because it opened and closed at the same price within that minute of time. And you can see that it came up a little bit, and it also came down, and it still closed up here. So it shows that there's indecision, and there's not enough supply or demand, or there's not enough bullish sentiment to make it move up and up. You can see that the next candle the sellers won and took it down, and it just continued down for the rest of the day. So that was that. It wasn't a good setup at all. It wasn't even a setup. It wasn't really even holding the 200 moving average as a support, and it wasn't acting as a support or resistance. It was kind of just there. And yeah, so I just need to stick to clearer setups next time. And honestly, like, I was just trading everything that was moving, because the morning I missed out on a lot of setups, and I was just not really eager, I was just kind of greedy, and I wanted to, obviously make money, and I wasn't taking it slow, and I wasn't taking it disciplined, and looking for looking for the best opportunities that I could take to actually make money. And finally, I traded NIO, and this was my worst trade of the day. So, honestly, it was because I was distracted. I had my eyes watching like 3 different stocks at the same time, and like I said before, I was trading everything that was moving, and that's not a good thing to do. And there was a lot of clear and easy setups on NIO too that I had missed out on just because I wasn't paying attention to it. I was watching too many stocks, and I just had too much going on. I kind of zoned out, and I was just buying stuff for no reason, or I was just looking at everything, and then I ended up FOMOing or just not having good entries, and just not following my strategy or being disciplined. So you can see that NIO, while I was trading it, obviously I wanted to buy at the support after the breakout of 40, and I had missed that, and it had shot up and it broke high of day. And then what I did was, instead of waiting, I bought as soon as it broke high of day, because it was moving, and I didn't want to miss out. And as soon as that happened, it got rejected. And what I did is, on this big rejection candle, normally I would have gotten out if I was actually conscious of what I was doing, and being aware of every single step that I was taking, and every single thing that was happening, and paying attention to all the information that I saw. But I didn't. I saw this big engulfing red candle, and I didn't cut my loss. I said, okay, maybe the support was holding, maybe the support was held. I was hoping, instead of just reacting to what I saw. And it came all the way down to support, and I had to exit right here for almost a 20% loss. And that's not something that I should be doing. And on top of me taking that 20% loss, I had also my position size was just way too much. I had over 50% of my account in this trade, and I don't know why I did that. I wasn't even conscious of that decision, to be honest. I was just greedy, and I wanted to make money, and in doing that, I ended up losing. And it caused a 15% decrease in my total account size for today, which is not something that should ever happen, but it happened to me because I made this silly mistake. And in order to do that, in order to not to make that mistake again, I just need to obviously manage my risk. And I'm always talking about it, but it's a lot harder in practice, and it's something that I'm still working on learning and applying, and just being disciplined with overall. But I bought on the high of day, and it got rejected from high of day, came all the way back down to the support, and I had to take a fat L on it, especially and the thing is, honestly, it's okay that I took a L, that it's okay that I took the loss at 20%, but the only bad thing about it was that my position size was so big in terms of how much of my account it actually was. So me doing that actually made me take a much bigger loss than normal, because in this game, in the stock market, you're gonna lose money, and I know that. and I know that I should be managing my risk, but what happened was I got greedy, and market taught me a lesson again. I'm still, I didn't blow up my account or anything, but it's another hit that I shouldn't have taken, and it's just another lesson that I clearly haven't learned yet, and I need to learn, and I need to rectify and do better. So yeah, today wasn't really my best day. It wasn't my best day whatsoever. I made a lot of mistakes, and I just didn't pay attention to any of the setups that were actually in front of me, and I was just trading what was moving. Because if I were to delete everything on this chart, you can see that there's a lot of clear and easy setups that I could have taken if I was just watching like one or two stocks instead of paying attention to a giant watch list and not being selective. Because for example, right here, what I could have done is I could have been watching NIO. I could have said, okay, I want to take it above 40, but that clearly didn't happen. It sold off in the morning, and it found a support right here. And all I could have done is I could have just drew a trend line, drew a trend line down here, from open down to the first bounce of support, and I create a trend line, and then this flat support right here, and then just trade the breakout and take it up to the open and high a day, and that would have been a good trade right there. If I was being more patient, what I could have done is I could have, after this giant rejection at the high of day, I could have bought some puts because it's gonna come back down and take it down to the next support. I could have done that. Or another thing I could have done is I could have saw that it was also forming another triangle pattern, and then what I could have done is I could have traded that breakout and taken a big trade, and this would have been a nice trade right here. But because of the fact that I was impatient, I was greedy, I was just doing everything that I shouldn't have been doing today, caused me to lose, and it caused me to take more losses than I needed to, and it just shows that I have more work to do. Yeah, that's really it. It's a short recap today, and I'm also gonna try to keep these recaps a lot shorter. There's no reason for me to drag them on any longer than I have been. And another thing that I also wanted to say is that I'm also going to stop using moving averages in my intraday trading, and I'm just gonna stick to only using the chart. And the reason I'm doing that is because the moving averages, they make my chart noisy, and me, somebody who gets distracted very easily and can zone out, or just I make decisions on the whim, and I just need to force myself to think more, and this is distracting. There's too much going on, there's too much to look at. If I didn't have them and I could just pay attention to the chart only, I feel like I'll do a lot better, because I'll be forced to look at the actual picture instead of seeing what the moving averages do, what the indicators do. I'm just looking at the candlesticks, looking at the chart, and looking at the volume and making decisions solely based off of that. Maybe what I can start doing is when I'm doing my actual analysis and trying to find plays. So say I'm on the daily chart or something like that, I can use my moving averages, and I could use that to find different supports and different resistances and stuff. But still, even then, it's still noisy and it's still kind of distracting. And I've been noticing that as a trend, and something hasn't really been helping me. And I've been trying to figure out whether I should use it for a while, to be honest. And it's one thing I'm just not gonna continue using, because all they do, to be honest, moving averages, they act as supports and resistances, and they only do that sometimes. And I can identify supports and resistances without using trend lines, without using moving averages anyway. So do I really need them? I don't use moving averages for the the crosses and to see whether the moving averages is crossing above or below each other. I just use them in relation to the candlesticks and as another way to see supports and resistances. But too much information can also make you not do good, or can also make you make bad decisions. People call it analysis paralysis, but at the same time it can also make you make decisions on the whim that you don't need to, instead of being indecisive. And I think that's what's been happening to me. I've been putting too much weight on the indicators and on the moving averages, so I'm just gonna get rid of them, and I'm just gonna trade without them. And the only thing I'll use them for is to actually find plays, or just to use them when I'm doing analysis, not when I'm actually live trading and making the live decisions on the intraday chart. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I can't go wrong. Like, I've studied candlestick patterns a lot, and I'm very good at identifying them, especially in hindsight. But in the moment, that's what I need to get better at doing. So yeah, now it's the end of the recap, because that's something that just popped up in my mind, that I wanted to highlight for myself specifically. And maybe it's something you can learn from too. But that's about it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with another recap, and other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hi everybody, it's Dream Trades. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed the content and you were able to learn, like, and subscribe, so I can continue making content related to trading and stocks and options. And yeah, so that's it, and I'll see you in the next video.